Hi and welcome to this short video where we're going to take a look at Cubase's chord editing abilities. So while there isn't anything revolutionary in any of this, this is a really useful set of tools to allow you to manipulate chords quickly and easily, but also it works well as a learning tool because in my experience the majority of people who do sequencing, production, etc. in Cubase, but not only Cubase, obviously Logic, etc. The vast majority of people don't have strong music theory knowledge, and while you don't necessarily need to be a grade 8 theorist, etc. To produce good music, it's important to have some understanding of what you're doing in many ways because it allows you to understand the possibilities that are available to you. This hopefully will demystify some of that. So we are just looking at a straightforward MIDI track here, and as you can see I've just got Halion Sonic set up playing a piano sound, so there's nothing particularly interesting about that. We're just going to take a look at this section on the left of the screen, which is in the inspector and would be the same in the inspector in the full pop-out editor window. I'm just using the bottom section editor here. So it's this chord editing section which expands when you click on it. We're going to be looking at this section here. The top section we'll be looking in another video in a week or two. So we've got triads here, and this allows us to create 3, or in this case 4-note chords. So triads are 3-note chords, these are 4-note chords. And to create one, you simply click on the triangle, so the insert here, and then pick the root note of the chord that you want to put in. So I'm just going to click on the C and then drag across, and you can see it's created a C major triad. If we wanted a minor triad, we'd do the same there, and then I'm going to create a D minor. I'm going to create an E minor to fit in key. There we go. And finally F major at the end. Okay, and of course I demonstrate the fact that you can drag these up and down while you're putting them in, so if you put them in the wrong place you can still move them around. You won't end up creating a stream of chords. So that's fairly straightforward, easy to use. Usefully though, if you highlight a chord, Cubase will do its best to analyse what you've done, and you'll see it lights up. So here it's saying this is minor, and if we change that F to an F sharp, that's now become a D major. If we change that F to an E, we get D sus2, etc. So it does its best to analyse it, and it works exactly the same for 4-note chords. So let's say we wanted to add a bit more colour in there and I wanted to put in a D minor 7, just click there, click on the D, and there we go, we've got D minor 7, and we can change it for major 7 and all the others. So these I think in particular are useful because often not knowing chord spellings, you know, that certainly isn't uncommon, and knowing that that's major 7 sharp 5, that's how you put that in. So it can help with you learning that as well as analysing things that are already there. So as soon as you highlight a chord, Cubase does its best to work out what it is. There are some caveats to that. So if we take this chord here and make it into a sus4, that's E sus4, but if we move that E up an octave and then ask it to analyse it, it now says it's sus2 because it's become, as far as it's concerned, because the A is now the root note, it's an A sus2. So that's not really Cubase's fault. The two are different and it doesn't have any way of knowing the context. So that's just something to look out for if you're, I don't know, taking part in a name the chord competition or something like that. So this is really useful for creating chord progressions quickly and easily. There are some useful other tools here. So in fact we're going to look at this second one, just a little chord progression that I threw together. So we've got this here, and this jumps about as the name implies, so it's all over the place. So when you play this, it's not entirely pleasing because the chords are moving up and down. So it's a little bit Kate Nash for my liking. So if we want to make it smoother, what we would normally do is we'd hit that note there and then move it down an octave, and then hit this note and move it down an octave, and so on. But that can get a bit long-winded. There's a much better tool for doing that. You highlight the chord and then you use the inversions button, and inversions just does what I've just done. It, as it says there, it moves the highest notes to the bottom if you're moving down, lowest note to the top if you're moving up. But better than doing it with the octave selection by using shift up and down on the keyboard, this keeps going. So we can move it, you can just keep hitting the button and it's intelligently deciding which note you need to move. So that makes moving that much quicker, and we can actually do these two together, although we get a bit of a cacophony as we do it, but it will just move the highest note that's there. So there we've made that originally jumpy chord progression into something much smoother. Which may or may not be what you're after. Kind of related to that, we've got drop notes as well, so you can drop 2, you can drop 3, or drop 2 and 4, so you can create these spread out voicings. And if you're trying to simulate in particular jazz, guitar and piano, these voicings can be really useful for spacing things out, because often they're the way that things get played on those instruments. So that's the chord editing section, and hopefully you'll find some useful skills and improve your workflow by using those.